Alright, in this video we're looking at how to add and subtract polynomials. So I've included a set of steps here above that are going to tell us basically how to do this process. The idea behind it is pretty simple. We're going to remove the parentheses first, then we're going to combine like terms, and then finally write the answer in descending form. Alright, so if the problem just involves addition, then all we have to do is to drop the parentheses. We don't have to do anything special, so we can just rewrite the problem without parentheses. So removing the parentheses for an addition problem is really quite easy. Once we have the parentheses removed, we simply have to look at the problem and say, okay, let's identify like terms, and then start to combine the like terms and write the answer in descending form. So I can see that there's nothing like an x to the third, so I'll just recopy that down by itself. There's no other term that's like that. So we've used up x to the third. I'm going to cross that out. Now I see we'd be looking for x to the second next, and I can see only one term that has x to the second. That's this guy here. So I'm going to copy him down. So plus 3x to the second power. And again, I've used that up, so I don't have to worry about that any longer. Now I would look for things that have, or terms that have an x alone. And when I look for those, I see that I find 3 of them that have x's. So I can cross out the positive 2x and the negative 2x because they will cancel each other out exactly. And I'm left standing with just positive 5x. So now I've used up that positive 5x. I'll cross it out. And the only thing left is the plus 6 at the end. And there's my answer. It's in descending form because we go from x to the third to x to the second to x and then to a constant. So the final answer is x to the third plus 3x squared plus 5x plus 6. Okay, so the first one is done. Let's take a look at the second one here. Okay, so the second problem we're looking at here has subtraction involved in it. And when we go to remove the parentheses, it's a little bit different with subtraction. We're going to put a little invisible 1 here in front of the parenthesis to start. And then to remove the parentheses, we're going to distribute in that negative sign as a negative 1 across the entire polynomial. Okay, for the first polynomial, to remove the parentheses, I just need to drop the parenthesis because there's no number or sign out in front of it other than a positive sign. So for this polynomial, I could just copy it down. Now for the next one, that's when I do the distributing of the negative sign in front. So I'm going to do this negative 1 times 4, which gives me negative 4x to the third. Then negative 1 times a negative 2 is going to give me a positive 2x squared. Then negative 1 times a positive x, that'll give me minus x. And then negative 1 times negative 3, and that'll give me a positive 3. All right, so once we've removed the parentheses, then we can move on to our second step, which is to combine like terms. So I'm going to put together anything that has an x to the third, for example. So here's x to the third, here's something with x to the third. Now that's a negative 4x to the third, that's a positive 2x to the third. So together that's going to give me a negative 2x to the third power. All right, so I've combined the x to the thirds. Now I'll try to match any of the x to the seconds. So I see this guy here is positive 3x squared and then positive 2x squared. So together that's going to give you a plus 5x squared. So cross those out, and then we have a minus x left after that. So it's the only x term that we have. And then lastly, we have two constants. 1 plus 3 gives you positive 4. And so that's our final answer. All right, let's finally tackle this last problem. To remove the parentheses here, it means we have to distribute in a constant that's in front of each parenthesis into the parenthesis that it precedes. In other words, this 7 has to multiply by the 2 here first to give us 14. And then 7 times negative x cubed is minus 7x cubed. So the first parenthesis has been removed. Let's do the same for the second. This positive 3 will multiply the 2 to give you plus 6. And then positive 3 times positive x is plus 3x. Positive 3 times positive 2x squared gives you plus 6x squared. And lastly, positive 3 times a positive x cubed is plus 3x cubed. From there, we can combine all the like terms. Let's start with the x to the third. And the reason why we're going to do that is because that's the highest degreed term we have. So there's a plus 3x to the third and a negative 7x to the third. Together that's going to make minus 4x to the third. So we've used up those guys. Now we're going to look for anything with an x squared. I see only one term with an x squared, so I'm going to say plus 6x squared. After that we have 3x, so just one term with an x, and that's plus 3x. So I've used up that. And then lastly we have 14 and 6. Together that makes a plus or a positive 20.